Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Melanie and I make videos about living in Copenhagen. Today we're going to visit this museum, the Happiness Museum. It's a new museum that opened just this summer in Copenhagen, and we're going to get a tour around with one of the people that works there and who's been instrumental in setting up the museum, whose name is Onor. So let's go inside and meet her now.
So my name is Onor and I am an analyst at the Happiness Research Institute, and I've also been highly involved in the creation of the Happiness Museum. So we started with this idea back in November of 2019, and the Happiness Museum was able to open in July 2020. So yeah, we've been open since July and we've welcomed over 1,000 guests, and it's been a really interesting experience to understand what people learn from coming to the museum and what they take away and what they didn't understand before. And my main hope with the museum is that people come here and they leave better understanding the things that are important for their happiness and the things that aren't so important. Okay, so we start with the geography of happiness, and this is looking at where we are in the world and how it differently influences how we feel. So we start on a national level and we actually take the whole world map with the rankings that are presented in the most recent World Happiness Report. Yes. And the question that's asked when asking about happiness in the World Happiness Report is to capture what we call the cognitive dimension of happiness. So that means life satisfaction, how someone feels about the course of their life. And the question that's asked to capture this is, if you think about the best possible life for you and the worst possible life for you from 0 to 10, where would you stand on that ladder? Cool. So looking then at happiness on a national level, then moving more to a local level. And here we use Copenhagen as an example of a city whose infrastructure enables high levels of life satisfaction. And we go through factors of the city or parts of the city that do this well. So for example, we have Christiania, which is a place which really, we say, allows for the alternative. And then we also have places like the beach and the parks and the harbour baths and the bike lanes, all different factors which enable people to live good lives in Copenhagen. Okay. And then in this section we start with the politics of happiness, so looking at how happiness interacts with our politics. And here we have our Make America Great Again hat, and this is to represent a study that has been conducted in the UK since 2010, which is called Mappiness. And what they've been doing is they've created an app which asks people 3 times a day where they are, how they feel, takes a GPS location and a soundbite recording. And all of the data that has been collected since 2010, they found that the day that Donald Trump was elected President of the United States was the unhappiest day in the UK. This room is our most personal element of the museum, so we have the walls completely covered in yellow post-it notes, and we ask people to come in and to tell us either their happiest memory or their definition of happiness. And we've got some, I haven't counted, but we've got a lot since July. We've kept them all up since July. So for example, what can we take? My mum's apple crumble, food, and then people write their loved ones' names. We have ones written in English, in Danish, in German. I've seen some in Spanish and all of the languages. During the summer we had quite a lot of people from other parts of Europe coming, so we got a good selection. And then we also have 18 personal objects that have been donated to us. We asked on social media if people could send us stories of objects which manifest happiness for them, and we were sent over 200 I think stories, and then we selected 18 objects, and the people very kindly sent us the objects and we displayed them. So this one is a jumper from Scotland, which belonged to Laura, who donated to her grandfather. It reminded her of him. This one is a very nice story of a family from France whose youngest child suffered really badly with baby asthma, and they were living on the French Riviera and decided to move to Denmark. And actually, as soon as they moved to Denmark, the baby asthma disappeared. So for her, it reflects a really positive change in their life. And here we have a harmonica, which is donated by a man in the Philippines, and the story is about how the night basically that he met his wife as he was playing the harmonica at a school disco. Here we have something called the Skype laughter chain, which is a video of people watching people laughing. So people watching videos of people who are laughing and laughing at them, and then other people watching them, and it goes and it goes and it goes. And it really does make you laugh. It's very popular with children. They really enjoy this one. So here we have a whole collection of advertisements who have been using happiness as their main selling point. So what I see is they're taking your happiness and selling it back to you through a car, through a food product, through cigarettes. So this one is, for example, the tagline, "Be happy, go lucky," and it's an advertisement from the early 1900s about cigarettes for Lucky Strike. And the second is, the tagline is, "How happy can a chubby girl be?" And it's also an advert from the early 1900s for corsets. This room, which is the history of happiness, we look at the philosophy of happiness, which has gone from the ancient Greek, is kind of the first appearance of the word happiness, or the concept of happiness, right through to Bentham with his utilitarianism theory. So we go from the ancient Greeks to Christian theology, and then to happiness as the goal of government. And we follow that timeline and look at how happiness has been perceived pretty much throughout history. And what we see is that, especially in the Christian theology era, happiness is associated with heaven. So it's not something that's achievable in this life, it's only going to come to you in the afterlife, which I think is then interesting when we now look at modern day opinions or modern day thought about happiness, and we have here a whole collection of self-help books. And I think it's interesting how we've gone as happiness, which can only be granted to you in heaven, to now something maybe you can cultivate yourself using these kind of books. This whole room is now looking into Nordic happiness, so trying to dispel the Nordic superpowers, why the Nordic countries are always topping the World Happiness ranking. We talk a little bit about hygge. So a lot of people, I think, after the export of hygge to the other parts of the world has linked it now with Danish happiness. And what we say is hygge is kind of a driver for everyday happiness. So it's taking time out of each day for moments of presence, moments of gratitude, moments of enjoying yourself. And here we show how different things are associated with hygge by Danes. So hot drinks, over 80% of Danes associate hot drinks with hygge, candles 80%, and so goes. The Happiness Research Institute is the founder of the Happiness Museum. The Happiness Research Institute is a private held think tank, and we look at themes of well-being, quality of life, and happiness. And the institute is led by Mike Viking, who is a best-selling author of The Little Book of Hygge, which is the way I think many people outside of Denmark learn a little bit more about this very important part, I think, of Danish everyday life. He's also written The Little Book of Lykke, which lykke is the Danish word for happiness. There are two words, but this is one of the Danish words for happiness, and it looks at happiness across the world, and it's kind of a treasure hunt for happiness. And his most recent book, which came out in, I think, September last year, is The Art of Making Memories, and it looks at how we can create and remember happy moments in our lives.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video and that look around the Happiness Museum. Now, I was there for several hours with Onor, and she showed me every single part of the exhibit. I would like you to go and see every part of the exhibit. That's why I've just shown some of the bits that I thought were particularly interesting. But it really, really does give you an insight into what happiness is and what the work of the Happiness Research Institute does and the books that they have, and really getting a better understanding of what happiness means. Not like, wild lunatic running around grinning happiness, but actually what the true definition of what happiness and contentment means. Now, I would recommend going to that museum. They are open every day except Monday, I believe, but I will put a link below so you can see. And I hope that you find it an interesting museum to look at, especially during these COVID times, when we're all struggling with our happiness levels, I guess, and with just general feelings of corona trist and feeling a little bit down and sad. So I think that going to that museum will really help you understand how you can take some control over your own happiness and what happiness means out there. So once again, thank you so much to Onor for showing me around the museum and allowing me to share it with you. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, please do consider subscribing if you're not already a subscriber, and hitting the bell button so you don't miss any videos going forward. And until next time, bye for now.